There is a secret out there to not being old like you think it's going to be, on how to die young at an old age. And by that I mean, instead of going through what so many of us fear and dread, the decline, the demise, the health problems, the lack of happiness, purpose, relevance, all of that kind of stuff, there is a fundamental secret that almost nobody knows. And so that's what makes it a secret, right? But I'm going to be sharing it with you in this video. And this is such an important yet achievable thing that you can do to instead flip aging on its head. In other words, to make your olderhood, those years you may be dreading, actually some of the best of your life and totally different than you may expect. And in this video, I'll share with you what it is, why it is, and what you can do to make those years some of the best of your life.
Helping you find your new way forward to the best years of your life. This is a New Way Forward podcast with your host, Paul Long.
Okay, so before I tell you what it is, let me give you two stunning stories. I'm going to tell you two stories that'll really point to what the secret is. So the first one comes from my friend and colleague, mastermind partner, Robert Laura, who started the Retirement Coaches Association. He's the CEO of it, but he's also a financial advisor. And that's how he discovered the need for people to look at these years differently as a financial advisor, because he was helping mostly people heading into retirement or in retirement. So he had this couple that were approaching retirement age. They came in to talk with him about their financial planning. And Robert said, okay, we're going to map things out to age 95. And the guy said, whoa. If I make it to 85, I'm going to be saying, take me now. Well, that's understandable when you think of the assumption, the presumption, the stereotype that we all have of what being 85 or 75 or 65 or 95 or 45. We've got these false impressions of the way that it's going to be. They're either outdated or just outright false to begin with, or just the view from youth. 30, I'm old, right? So what if I could say to that guy, what if at age 85, you're in good health and you're living with purpose and you've got things going on in your life that you're enjoying and you've got a great circle of friends? And what if you knew that you could have another 5, 10, even 15 years of that? Are you still going to want to be take me now? So let's shift to another story. And this is from someone you may know, the British actor, Michael Caine, who starred in such movies in his younger days as Alfie, The Man Who Would Be King, which is one of my favorite movies, Sleuth, The Ypres File, and Zulu and Hannah and Her Sisters. And the story is that he turned 60 and he got a script from somebody and he read it and he said, I don't think this part's really right for me and there's not that much depth or development in it. And the director said, oh no, you're not the love interest, you're the father. So Michael Caine's like, okay, that's it. I guess I'm done. I'm 60 years old. My acting career is over. So he moved to Miami, he opened a restaurant, but he ran into Jack Nicholson and they became really good friends. And Nicholson had this script for him. And Michael Caine's like, no, I'm too old and everything. And Nicholson's like, no, you're not. Do this movie. And lo and behold, Michael Caine did that movie and he went on to do several other movies that were critically acclaimed and big successes, including Cider House Rules, for which he won an Academy Award. What's the difference between Michael Caine and that man in Robert Laura's office? A lot of things, but you know what it fundamentally comes down to? Fundamentally, attitude. That's right. Now, certainly there are a lot of other factors There's awareness as I'm going to talk about it and as I'm giving you right now. But it's this attitude of how I want to be and what I want my life to be like and how I'm going to move forward. It starts in many ways with that attitude because, for instance, my attitude, well, here it is. I won't characterize, I'll just tell you. In the first place, for all of my olderhood, whenever the heck that started, let's say 45 or 50, and certainly even now, right? I in no way, shape, or form perceive myself as being anywhere close to my chronological age. Unless I look in the mirror while I'm editing this video, right? But I don't think of that. I'm with people who are younger than me, and I'm actually perceiving them as being older than me. And actually, I've had people tell me, yeah, I know people who are 20 years younger than you, but they act older than you. Or my doctor saying, your bio age is 20, 25 years younger, and you're healthier than a lot of my patients who are that chronological age. So my attitude is that literally there's my chronological age, and that is, it's a cliche, but it's true, age is just a number. There's my bio age, that because I take relatively good care of myself and exercise and eat right and have friends and have purpose and relevance and fulfillment by doing this, as well as being a father and a husband and the other things that I do. And my bio age is at least 20, 25 years younger. And here's the thing, and this is huge. I'm still who I am. I'm still who I was when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. We think that changes. It doesn't. If you're an artist, you're an artist. If you're a caregiver, you're a caregiver. If you're a storyteller and want to share things with people to make a difference, heck, I'm having a better opportunity to do that now because I stepped forward with this because of my attitude. And I've got a better chance to make any impact than I did even as a television news reporter, and certainly when I was a content creator, helping companies sell things or improve their employee performance. And by the way, Kim will sometimes say my maturity level is 17. But you see, it's attitude. It's how we think of ourselves and how we think of our life and how we think of our future. And 15 years ago when I was seeking my new way forward, I had that attitude. If I hadn't had that attitude, I don't know if I even would have gotten started. Or that if I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to just fall into what for some people is the traditional retirement trap of, a year of the honeymoon and everything's great. And then the lack of those things I talked about, relevance, purpose, meaning, all that, start going away. I still don't know if I really would have gone for it without having the attitude that's required to believe. I mean, it's really, an attitude is a belief. And we have a lot of false beliefs, sometimes from childhood, for instance, like the imposter syndrome in its many forms. That comes from the way our parents were, our growing up situation. There are thousands of them that are false beliefs. It's also a false belief to assume that your olderhood is going to be like the stereotype of that, yeah, it's nice and I can travel and spend grandkid time and all those wonderful things. But then the fear being obvious, the decline and demise physically, cognitively, and just in having a meaningful life. But with the attitude of age is just a number. And I mean, here it is in the most stark simplicity that I can put it, that I just am who I am today, right here, right now. And I'm being who I am and who I want to be, and I'm living the way that I want to live. So I am not allowing these dictates that not only aren't necessarily legitimate, but are not being imposed upon me except by myself, that I just am who I am. And I'm just going to live the way I want to live. And yes, I am older. And yes, there's some age-related things that I attack. and I do something about because I found a meaningful life that I love and I'm in no rush to end. So attitude is what I call the 3 A's, one of the 3 A's. And down below, I'll put a link to a video that I did on the 3 A's. So this is about attitude though. So it's attitude, awareness, and action. When you step back, and this is what you can do, when you step back and really kind of say, what kind of attitude do I want to have about myself and my life and my future? That's a different angle of approaching. Like, what do I want to be like, oh my gosh, here it comes, or oh, hopefully retirement, traditional retirement will be fine, or what, but I mean, you know, you hear from so many people what their attitude is. Well, what do you expect? I'm getting old, or oh, I'm having a senior moment. I can't find my keys, even though, I don't know about you, but I lost my keys in my 20s, right? I mean, we back it up, we solidify it with that negative attitude. But I bristle when I hear that because my attitude is that I just am who I am and I'm going to make the most of my life as long as I can. And I'm really viewing this phase of life as perfect timing for it to be my turn. And that I made my big transformation because, well, now that I'm older, I've got this opportunity. I've raised the kids. They've gone through college. They're out on their life now. I'm done doing what I'm doing. What am I going to do next? Well, I'm going to have the attitude that I want to do something that's right for me, that's meaningful and fulfilling, and I'm going to take as best care of myself, and something can always reach up and bite me in the butt health-wise that I don't expect, but I'm going to play the odds, and Vegas is going to give me good odds of dying young at an old age. And so then with that attitude, that becomes the fuel, the impetus, the motivation to figure it out and to do research. That's where awareness comes from. And that's what worked for me. I had the awareness, I gained the awareness of what were other people doing, what were the life possibilities out there, and everything I looked into was different, sometimes 180 degrees from the assumption. You know, the thing about retirement, it's bliss. For a lot of people, it wasn't after a year or so. And they felt like they were failing at retirement and failing at life. There were a lot of people who were reimagining, reconsidering, and redesigning their lives and having the best years of their life. That's for me. The awareness, too, of the possibilities of how I could do that. And then the internal awareness of what I really wanted in my life, not just as a way to earn money or not just in this way, but in all ways. Health, relationships, fun, family, self-growth, income, everything. And then the last one is action. Attitude, awareness, and action. And I took action on it, and I'm continuing to take action on it. And I intend to take action until the day I die. And hopefully that's a day that was fulfilling and I was independent and I was doing my thing and I didn't wake up one night. That's all the outgrowth of attitude. So quite frankly, with anything in life, any challenge that you have, any desire that you have, if you have the attitude, the right attitude that you can achieve it, and if you can get over the stereotypes and the presumptions and assumptions, you too can die young at an old age. You too can make this time of life, whatever time of life it is for you, your turn. You're entitled to it. You deserve it. You just have to have the attitude to go after it.
Learn more ways to enhance your life and discover a new way forward that's perfect for you by watching these videos or any others on my channel. Oh, and be sure to subscribe.